Dhyan is not some amenity which can be acquired, and neither is it something which can be established inside the body. One cannot go into Dhyan by acquiring knowledge or by reading the Puranas or the Vedic mantras, because Dhyan is not something which can be instilled inside. Rather, Dhyan is a process of looking inside, sitting inside the soul. It is something which is generated from within. To enter into the soul, we have to form a ladder of neutral feelings. We have to reach a state where we remain unaffected by happiness or sorrows. And on reaching the soul, the divinity which is awakened, the thought which is produced, is called Dhyan. Dhya iti nasa Dhyan. That is, the state in which we remain oblivious of and unaffected by the happenings of the outer world is called Dhyan. Just sitting with the eyes closed is not Dhyan. Going to the Himalayas and getting engrossed in worship is not Dhyan. One cannot learn how to be in Dhyan even by studying and understanding the text Yog Darshan of sage Patanjali. Dhyan is not something which can be learnt. It is something which can only be experienced. Dhyan is a process of entering into oneself. Reaching the soul and beyond it is called Dhyan. Where there is a state of Dhyan, nothing else can exist. Either there can be a state of Dhyan or a state of being in the material world. In the state of Dhyan, there is no wife, no son, no friend, and no relative. In fact, the person himself ceases to exist as a part of the material world. Then he does not remain in touch with any Shastra or any knowledge. The process of reaching such a state is called Dhyan or meditation. Is the base of Dhyan or meditation formless, or does it have any form? Or, in other words, should we meditate on a Nirakar or on a Sakar? There are two forms of meditation, one on some definite form called Sakar and the other on a formless God, that is Nirakar. Some people have faith in Krishna, some in Rama, and some in Jesus Christ. They have formed their own images and idols. Krishna playing a flute, Rama carrying a bow, and Jesus on the cross. This type of meditation is called as Sagun meditation, or the worship of a particular form, that is Sakar. But there have been several other devotees who refused to meditate on any particular form. They formed a distinct method of meditation. Kabir was the foremost among such thinkers. He said, Brahma has no form. He is unborn, without any deformity, without any thought. He said, Lali meri lal ki, jit deku tit lal, lali dekan मैं गई, मैं भी हो गई लाल. That is, so great is God, I cannot give him any form. He is omnipresent. He is present in the crimson red, which fills the skies in the early morning. At that time, there is no one standing there with a bow or playing a flute. He is just a manifestation in the form of a beautiful scene. And when I look at myself standing there under the crimson splendor of the skies, I find that I too am smeared with the same reddish tinge which I see in him. When no idol, no picture, no form is meditated upon, the worship is called Nirakar, that is, of the formless. For going into Dhyan, one needs to worship neither the sakar nor the nirakar. The state where there is no form is called dhyan. Whatever forms there are have been created by us. We have never seen Rama. We just drew a picture on the basis of what we read about him and called this imaginary picture as Rama. Similarly, we have not seen Krishna but have formed his image on the basis of what is written in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The state of dhyan cannot actually be attained by concentrating on some form. When a child first goes to school, the teacher writes the alphabet A on a page and asks the child to write over it. The child holds the pencil in his tiny hand and keeps writing over the alphabet written by the teacher. In a few days, he is then able to write on his own on a blank piece of paper. The same happens in this field. When a person wishes to go into dhyan, he is given a definite form like an idol or a picture to concentrate upon. When he keeps looking at it, the same image of Krishna, Rama or Nanak is inscribed permanently in his brain. Then even if he closes his eyes, the image becomes clear to him. Thus he believes that he closed his eyes and had a glimpse of his deity. He believes that he had been in dhyan. But the fact is that his belief is as baseless as someone's belief that he is 5,000 years old or that he is standing in air. He is wrong because by continuously staring at the picture, an image is formed in his mind, and on closing the eyes, the same image is projected before him. A lover always carries the picture of his beloved. He looks at it several times in a day and always keeps it in his breast pocket next to his heart. When he closes his eyes, the image of the same picture appears in his mind. This does not mean that the girl has actually appeared before him. It is just an image, and the image cannot take the place of the girl. It is just an image which one can see with the eyes open or closed. Even a Nirakar worshipper remains under such a misbelief. He does not believe in any form, so he says there is a flame, a radiance. In this case too, an image, though obscure, is formed, and when he closes his eyes, he sees a crimson radiance all around. He thinks he has been in dhyan, whereas the fact is that neither the former was a state of dhyan and nor was the latter. Dhyan can neither be sagun of any form nor nirgun of the formless. The process of going into the state beyond the worship of these two is called dhyan. Dhyan is a state beyond all worships. It does not matter if you do not have any form to meditate upon. Neither does it matter whether you are a Hindu, a Muslim, a Sikh or a Christian. You need not worship Rama or Krishna. You are a human and you can enter deep into yourself. In fact, every human can, if he is capable of freeing himself from the arguments of the mind, because it is the mind which differentiates between sagun and nirgun. Wherever there is the use of the mind, there is sakar and nirakar, and thus there are bound to be lies, deceit and fraud. Hence dhyan can be of neither of the two. What is the real meaning of dhyan and how can we go into it? Dhyan is the process of entering into oneself after getting rid of all thoughts, suspicion, illusions and passions, and by making the mind peaceful and thoughtless. When the outer feelings are subdued, a spiritual enlightenment of the soul takes place. When we move forward on this path, we reach a room filled with radiance. Moving further, we come across a still larger room, even more brightly illumined. On proceeding still further, we reach even larger source of celestial radiance. Thus, as we keep entering ourselves, we come across brighter and brighter sources of illuminations. And when we reach the final destination, the outer world ceases to exist for us. Then we become oblivious of even our own existence. This state is called Dhyan.